In this video we'll be getting the Platinum Trophy in Lords of the Fallen, which I believe is the first AAA Dark Souls clone, or at least one of the first. Even though Lords of the Fallen doesn't have the best reviews, since it was on PlayStation Plus I decided to download it and play it for myself. To earn this Platinum Trophy I had to play the game a total of 3 times. In the first playthrough I pretty much ran through and got as much collectibles as I can, and played through the DLC. For the second playthrough, I did some cleanup and got the second ending with the second class. And for the third playthrough, I pretty much ran through the game, getting the last ending and played through with the last class. Jumping right in, we get our first trophy, which of course is for dying for the first time. After respawning after that first death, next to this NPC is a collectible, which will give us our first trophy for collectibles.
These things keep coming. We fight back, but
We get our third trophy for collecting our experience after we die. Just like in Dark Souls, you leave your little ghost cloud there and you get your experience back. Every boss drops a weapon after you defeat them, but if you kill them in a certain way, you'll drop a legendary version of that weapon. And there is a trophy tied to collecting all 12 of those weapons. And for the first boss here, to get their legendary weapon, you must kill them without taking any damage. And I did not get that in my first playthrough, so I had to come back and do that in the next one. For every boss in this game, after you kill them, you'll get this same cutscene. So I'm just going to show it this one time, and the rest of them I'll just show the trophy popping. I don't want to show it over and over again. After progressing through the game a little bit, you will run into this monk who is tied to 2 trophies. For this first trophy, you must cut off his arm, and by doing that we set ourselves up for earning another trophy later on.
all right. On your head be it.
Not too long after talking to that monk, we find this dead body that's got the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is pretty much a second-handed weapon that shoots projectiles. These floating stones act as a bonfire just like in Dark Souls. We use it to upgrade our character using the XP we get, and after using the XP for the first time, we get a trophy. During the second boss fight, if we come over here and interact with this statue, later on in the fight, the boss will come over here and destroy it, and we unlock a miscellaneous trophy for doing that. To unlock the legendary weapon for this boss, you must beat it without blocking any attacks. So during this fight, I just put my shield away just so I don't accidentally do that. I earned 2 trophies after defeating that boss, one for interacting with that statue, and then one for killing him. While exploring, I found the perfect spot to get the trophy to kick an enemy to his death. Even though I didn't actually kick the enemy off, I unlocked the trophy. For the third boss, to get their legendary weapon, you have to let them kill 2 of their little minions. It's very easy because he does this really strong AoE attack that will just kill everything in the area. As long as you don't kill them, he will kill them, giving you the legendary weapon. After killing that boss, we get 2 trophies, one for progressing through the story and the next one for meeting the blacksmith. I don't know how many weapon types there are in the game because I only use like 2 total throughout all my playthroughs, but I got the trophy for unlocking all of them pretty early. Here I get a trophy for fully upgrading all of my spells for a single class. To get the Infiltrator's legendary weapon, you have to kill them within a certain amount of time. This boss is very aggressive. As long as you stay underneath them, You could take him out pretty quick if your strength is high. In the Catacombs area, I found this room with a giant pit. After I killed all the enemies, I hit this body down this pit and I unlocked a trophy. To unlock the champion's legendary weapon, I had to kill them without allowing that yellow bar beneath their health to go all the way up. What I did was just slowly chip away at their health, let that bar go up a little bit more than halfway, then I would let it go all the way back down before I start attacking again. During this fight, I got another miscellaneous trophy for killing a boss while having 20,000 experience on me.
Come here. Listen. Please.
I got 2 more story-related trophies before heading to the next boss. In the beast boss fight, he drops down these puddles of poison and you have to avoid them to get his legendary item. They're not hard to avoid. He kind of stops and just spits it all over the floor so you know exactly where he's going to drop it. This next trophy is tied to a side quest. You have to pick up this weapon and bring that weapon to this grave and inspect it. After dropping the weapon inside, this ghost will appear, and after killing the ghost, I'll earn a trophy. In my opinion, the Guardian is the hardest boss in the game, especially on New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus. He does lots of damage in those specifically. To earn the Guardian's legendary weapon, you must finish the fight without taking out any of those fire orbs. Honestly, I had no idea how to get rid of them anyway, so I got it regardless. Throughout the game, you'll find these portals that send you to this place called the Infinite Void. In this area, I had to follow this Orb of Light while killing enemies. Orb of Light takes you to a chest, but you can't open the chest until you've killed all the enemies in the area. I unlock a trophy after finishing the last void. There's only 3 total throughout the game. These next 2 trophies are tied together. Throughout the game, you'll find these enemies called the Tyrants. In order to kill them, you must break this little vase that contains their heart inside. After collecting 9 Tyrant hearts, I got a trophy. For this next trophy, I only needed to collect 4 Tyrant hearts, but I waited until I had 9 for the trophy first because I don't know if I needed to have 9 at once. So to be safe, I just waited. So after getting the 4 Tyrant hearts, I'll get an upgrade to my healing, and I'll get the trophy. While exploring, I got another trophy for finding my 15th secret room. Here's another story-related trophy. Now the Annihilator, this was a very boring fight. Pretty much just sat there waiting for them to do their heavy swing or throw their mace at you and then go in there and do as much damage as you can and dip out. Very boring fight in my opinion. To get the Annihilator's legendary weapon, you just have to kill them with a lightning weapon. This is the point of the story where a deer here gives us a rune, and that rune is the way we get our 3 different endings. Late in the game, I got a trophy for killing all enemy types at least once. The Lost Brothers boss battle pretty much is the Lords of the Fallen's version of Ornstein and Smough. Just like Ornstein and Smough, once you kill one, the other will absorb the dead one's powers and have both while it fights you. I'm surprised this boss fight is this late into the game because it is extremely easy. Both of these guys take a lot of damage. There are 2 legendary weapons you can get from this boss fight, one for killing each of the brothers first, so it's not possible to get both in a single playthrough. These next two trophies are collectible trophies, one for audio logs and the other one for collecting 20 different armor sets. Just like the Infinite Voids, there's these portals that will take you to these chest chambers, which will just give you rare items and health potions. After finding all of these, I get another trophy. Here is the last trophy related to those portals. This one's called the Proving Grounds, which is just waves of enemies that progressively get harder. Going into the DLC, we get our first trophy after talking to this guy who explains that we need to kill the boss here to set him free. There are only two types of enemies in this DLC, the skeletons and the ghosts, and after killing 40 of the ghosts, I earn my trophy. I used a guide for this entire DLC because it's just extremely confusing. It's like a maze that you can spin in circles and just keep messing up the maze, so I followed a guide. Without a guide, it would have taken me years to get the collectibles in this DLC. After collecting all 8 audio logs, I get another trophy. While navigating through the maze, you'll run into this switch that you can interact with that changes the boss's abilities. Interacting with it once will earn you a trophy, but you must do it twice to earn a trophy later on. After interacting with that switch, I went into the boss fight. The boss fight's pretty easy. The boss doesn't really attack much, and when it does, it barely does any damage. The boss has a shield of books around them, and once you take that out, you can do a pretty good amount of damage and take him out pretty quick. And after defeating the boss, I get 2 trophies, one for killing the boss and the other one for interacting with that switch before. In the DLC, there's a trophy for interacting with 4 tombstones. You can only unlock the door that the last tombstone is in after killing the boss. Before leaving the DLC, I talked to the blacksmith, and because I killed the final boss, he gives me an option between 3 armor sets and a trophy. In the starting area, the DLC is a shield that cannot be interacted with until I kill every enemy in the DLC. Once I did that, I was able to come back to the beginning and pick up the shield and get another trophy. Now that I'm done with the DLC besides 1 trophy, it's time to kill the final boss and end my first playthrough. The final boss fight is one of the harder fights in the game. The boss has a lot of health and deals a good amount of damage. The most annoying part about this fight is the boss summons enemies, and after a certain amount of time they will kill the enemies you don't finish and use them to replenish their health. After killing the boss, I get 3 trophies, one for the class, one for the first ending, and the third one is the last DLC trophy for killing this boss with the DLC boss's weapon. Now it's time for the New Game Plus playthrough. In this playthrough, I'm getting 3 miscellaneous trophies after killing the first boss only, and then I'm getting the second ending and the second class trophy. After killing this boss, I got 3 trophies. One for killing this boss with their own weapon, which I got in the first playthrough. The second one for killing the boss without taking any damage. And the third one is for collecting this boss's legendary weapon. There wasn't anything too special about New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus. The only difference was the bosses did more damage and had more health. There wasn't anything that the New Game Plus has added to the game. I guess you gotta play as the other 2 classes, but all the abilities are pretty much the same across all. It didn't seem like there was too much enemy scaling throughout the playthroughs. I felt like I was doing pretty much the same damage and taking no damage for the most part. Since there's not much to show in the New Game Plus runs, I'm just going to show all the trophies pop with the platinum. And also I just want to thank you for watching the video if you made it all the way through.